I really don't know what to do right now. I'm so upset that this happened since we just got married last year and our anniversary was coming up. Welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories, where I go over them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today, going to go over a story titled, I, a 25-year-old female, cheated on my husband at a party while I was drunk. He found out today because the man I slept with messaged him. I apologize profusely, but he won't forgive me. What do I do? And guys, this story is yet another example of a gal's behaving badly. A story about a gal that before she was married went off to a party without her fiance, and of course this guy was trusting, had way too much to drink as she claimed, and hooked up with the dude throwing the party. But of course didn't confess to the husband or the fiance, went and married him anyway, and then years later the husband found out. How? Because the dude that hooked up with her didn't realize that she was engaged and told him. And now she's having a meltdown because this guy is kicking her ass to the curb. But here's the thing, there's a little twist to this story. You're going to see she posts this thing online looking for a lot of pity, as these gals do. And of course she's eviscerated in the comment section. But interestingly enough, the dude that she cheated with, who told her husband, because he honestly didn't know at the time she was engaged, saw it. He's a regular Redditor. And he posts this thing pretty much calling her out on all her BS and things that she left out and all that. It's pretty funny here. So that'll be a good entertaining one to show. And again, by the way, the whole alcohol thing, as you all know, this is almost a classic excuse to blame for cheating or bad behavior, what do you want to call it. When the reality is alcohol just amplifies what one really wants to do, is thinking, is feeling anyway. But it's always a convenient excuse, both ways, men and women. And here's yet another one. So it starts off, she says, okay, so 2 years ago, I was invited to a party by my coworker, E. He is a 23-year-old male, and I was 23 at the time. My then boyfriend was aware of this and let me go by myself and told me to message him when I needed to be picked up. At the party, though, I got drunk and hooked up with E. We were both drunk. So right there. Went to the party alone. Why didn't boyfriend go along with her? She probably didn't want boyfriend to go along with her and probably orchestrated things that he wouldn't come along. And of course, blames it on the alcohol. I didn't tell my boyfriend because I loved him and didn't want the relationship to end. What an honest girl. Very thoughtful, very loving. It's horrible she cheated, but the very least she could have done is felt bad about it and told him. Right? Nope. Let the guy marry her anyway, and she knows darn well he'd kick her to the curb. He proposed to me the same year, and we got married at the beginning of last year and moved in together. I quit my job around this time and got hired nearby our house. Today my husband asked me to sit down, that we needed to talk. He took out his phone to show a conversation between E and my husband. It read something like this. E's the guy that threw the party who she cheated with, and here we go. E says, hey, is that my name, the girl's name, in the profile picture? And he says, yes, she's actually my wife now. Why? He said, dude, how long you guys been together? This is their conversation. Her husband says, ever since 2018, so a few years. Do you know her? He says, bro, I slept with her at a party in 2019. Husband says, are you effing with me right now? The guy said, nah, bro, she cheated on you. My husband, when did you guys have you know what? He says, I don't know, sometime in August at a party. Husband says, thanks for telling me. E says, sorry, bro, you got to find out this way. My husband, glad you told me. Now I would imagine there'd be a little more dialogue than that. Maybe wanting to talk to him, a little more proof, but whatever. This is what was said. She says, I didn't know how to react, so I just apologized, saying I was drunk, etc. Shocker. He asked if it was consensual, and I replied that we were both really drunk. He then texted E asking who started making moves first, and he replied a few hours later. But before that time, he kept asking me what I thought of E, how long we knew each other for, and have we flirted before, etc. After a few minutes, I started crying because I really didn't want to lose my husband. The last line of defense, the waterworks. So he wants to know from this guy all the details. Who initiated, what was said, all that. I mean, at the end of the day, the cheating happened, and she lied, and she didn't tell him about it, and let him marry her without knowing. Not giving him the chance. But still, he wants to know these details. Then, when E replied, saying that I was the one who started flirting and getting touchy first, my husband lightly threw his phone on the table and put his head in his hands. He stood up and said he's going to his parents' house and will come back tomorrow. In the meantime, I should start packing my stuff up and we'll discuss our relationship tomorrow. That would send any gal into complete meltdown zone. Him pretty much, that's it. Get out of here, we'll talk about it tomorrow. Pack up your crap. I started crying more, shocker, and telling him I was so sorry and that it was only a one-time thing and it would never happen again, and never will. And he raised his voice telling me that it's your fault, our relationship is ruined now. I love that. It was a one-time thing. Sure. How many times you guys heard these stories where the so-called one-time thing turns out to be a 20-time thing, or it'll never happen again? If this guy stayed with her, he'd never be able to trust her again. It's a common theme in these stories. He'll always be questioning where's she going, who's she with, who's she talking to on her phone. Is there going to be another guy that's going to message me one day informing me that they hooked up with my girl, didn't knowing that she was somebody else's girl at the time? And it goes on and on and on. And he's always going to imagine her with somebody else. Once a cheater, always a cheater. Kick him to the curb. He says, I really don't know what to do right now. I'm so upset that this happened since we just got married last year and our anniversary was coming up. I don't know what to do and I'm crying constantly. I really need help. Lady, it's over. If you really care about him, what you can do is completely admit to everything you did, because you know darn well she isn't giving the full story here. And this guy wants a divorce, you give him an amicable divorce. No BS, nothing. Don't try to hold him over anything. Give him a divorce. That's how you can remotely redeem yourself and learn from this and never do it again. Will that happen? Probably not. Now, she posted this story on Reddit, looking for a lot of attention and pity, and got the exact opposite of that. And interestingly enough, the dude that wrote her, that she was writing about, is a Redditor. Likes to read all these crazy types of stories, as many do. Saw it and posted, commenting on her story and saying that pretty much, yeah, she's full of shit. Meaning that she left a lot of things out, and you'll see. He says, oh, wow, just wow. I can't believe this. First of all, I didn't invite you to the party. All the coworkers practically did. We asked you if you wanted to come over and have a drink at the bar before a very busy week. Second of all, you weren't that drunk. You had a few shots and started flirting with me way before having any alcohol. Aha. Wasn't invited to the party, probably just wanted to tag along with friends, and she was flirting with him before she even had a drink in her. At the time, I found you attractive, so I got an Uber to my house and we had you-know-what in my bedroom. You then took a shower and got an Uber back to your house. When we came back to work on Monday, you acted like you didn't remember us having you-know-what after I asked you out. Third of all, you didn't quit. You got fired for refusing to do any work. So she's proven to be a liar on multiple fronts here. Fourth of all, your ex-husband has already been cheated on once before and it took him a lot of courage to ask you out. I know this because he continued talking with me after our first conversation, and he's the coolest, kindest, and greatest dude. I kind of find it hard they're buddies, supposedly buddies are hanging out after this, but it would actually make sense that the husband reached out and wanted to know every last detail. A lot of guys would do that because if this is accurate, and I think this is with regards to this guy, he didn't know that she was with somebody because a lot of these guys have no idea. I know this because he continued talking with me about our first conversation, and he's the coolest, kindest, greatest dude. Like, why would anyone cheat on him? Well, gals will cheat on great, nice, wonderful dudes all the time. Also, you forgot to mention that when he put his head into his hands, he actually started sobbing, and you started shouting at him, how do you think I feel? I didn't even have my first marriage anniversary. Like, shut up, man. He actually was able to record you of you with a lot of screaming and crying hysterically as if you were the victim. How about that? She left that part out with her blaming him and playing the victim card, even though she's the one that ruined the relationship. He has every right to want to kick her to the curb, regardless if she's not going to have her anniversary. Their marriage is a sham. I'm currently on Discord with him. We were playing Minecraft since we became friends over this situation. He even told me he's quite happy he found out because he wanted to get you a quite expensive car for your birthday. He even said he started noticing all the other red flags of your toxicity. He doesn't want to give you a second chance and definitely won't. You can't fix it and don't try because it's not going to work out. Screw you. How about that? She wasn't expecting that one. Now, a few comments here to wrap this up just to show you that it isn't just him that's having these words about her. One guy says, "You cheated. You lied. You married him under false pretenses after cheating and without giving him the chance to make a choice about whether or not to marry a cheater. And when he did find out, your first response was to abdicate responsibility for your actions by claiming it isn't your fault because you were drunk. You seem upset that he blames you for this ruining the marriage, but who the F should he blame? There are only two of you, and only one of you F'd someone else. Have you entirely and completely abstained from any and all use of alcohol, no matter the circumstances, since that day, and plan to continue to do so for the rest of your life? No, you can't claim it will never happen again. Anyway, you would think that if she has such little control over her impulses with alcohol, that she'd never drink again. I'm sure, as a young gal, enjoys alcohol just as much as she did before this whole thing. But remember the dude that wrote back, who responded and said flat out, you weren't even drunk. You weren't even drinking yet. And you were coming on to me. Now the guy says here, sounds like you're only sorry when you're caught because you didn't want to deal with the consequences. You should have told him then, but you were too selfish too. Actions have consequences. I hope your husband finds someone else who will actually care about him. Well, I definitely hope that. Unfortunately, the husband here is definitely going to be damaged for a long time. I hope that guy ends it with her, divorces her, that she handles it amicably. That's the least she can do. And this guy stays away from relationships for a while. Works on himself, works on his career, hangs out with his bros, self-improvement galore before he thinks about a relationship. And maybe, just maybe, finds content like the ones I do in other channels so he doesn't fall for these types again. And last one, this guy says, so you've been lying to him for years and you don't understand why he won't forgive you. A liar. You weren't drunk these past couple of years, though. You purposely withheld information and lied to him while saying your vows. You cheat on him, you hurt his trust and feelings, yet all I read is how you feel sorry for yourself and don't want to face the consequences of the choices you made. Well, that sums it up, and back to the whole women and accountability thing. So there you go, guys. It's a quick one. That'll be a good one there to show you, again, the whole alcohol thing there. So you guys are in relationships, and unfortunately one day you find out that your gal was up to no good, do not buy the whole I was drunk thing, okay? And by the way, a lot of times there's way more going on than what she's admitting, just like here in the story from the guy posting this. And remember, sadly, if your gal cheats and you find out about it, it is entirely possible that the dude that hooked up with her had no idea. Because a lot of times these stories I cover, they absolutely had no idea. I've had some guys write into me from my other channel telling me stories that they were the guy that cheated with the girl, but they didn't know. And they felt really bad. And some wrote into me asking SSM, should I tell the husband or tell the boyfriend or tell the fiance? And they want to know because they didn't know. And also, for the guys watching this, remember, karma's a bitch. So if you're a guy watching this and you think it's okay to go hook up with some girl and you know darn well that she's in a relationship or married, karma will come back to bite you in the butt. It will. Don't be that guy. We got to have a code, okay? I know there are a lot of guys out there that think, who cares? These beta blue pill guys deserve that. No. Not cool. That's the crap that women do. We got to have a higher code here, and that's what I'm trying to spread the word upon all over the world. All right, guys, that's it for today. Like I said, it's a quick one, but a good one. Be sure to comment down below what you think about this. And guys, if you got a really good story like to share, by all means, email to me, strongsuccessfulmale@gmail.com. Just give me some time to get to it because I'm getting bombarded with all these great stories and personal stories and all that. So I can only get to so many. I try to always do 2 a day, one this channel, one on the other, and on occasionally 3 a day. But I can only get so much out there, so I have to pick the best ones. But if it's a really good one, I will get to it eventually. And be sure to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.